Hello everybody, Hahano here, bringing you Trundle in the jungle. Now Trundle is really extremely strong pick. The only reason you wouldn't pick him is because you didn't want to play him. He really doesn't have too many counters. He's a little slower in the new jungle because he is still single target. A lot of people with AoE such as Skarner and Nocturne are faster in the new jungles. Trundle is a tad bit slower and a little bit less sustained, but he's still an extremely strong pick. He's also really sustained without using your W in the jungle. He is probably some of the best ganks in the game. It's really hard to get around a gank. Even Morgana has trouble because she can't black shield a pillar. He has a lot of utility to bring to a team fight. He's able to shred a tank, and split up a team fight and set the pace. He works really well against Skarner in that sense because Skarner is pretty tanky and also drags people away. So when he goes to drag someone away, you pillar them, he can't get far, and he also loses his tankiness in the team fight. So I would say that he's probably one of the better counters to Skarner. He's also a really amazing duelist. He's only outclassed by Xin Zhao or Lee Sin or someone of that caliber that is really good lower levels, but he shreds AD, so he does very well in a duel. And he's surprisingly tanky. Now I'm picking this game to show you. This is a game with one of my some of my friends, some of the people on my team as well, and we're just playing around, we're practicing. And I picked Trundle for this match so that I could show you guys how to play Trundle. I'm going to approach this a bit differently. This is going to be more of a match on how to play as a team as Trundle and things that he can offer to a team, because this is an arranged 5, we're all in voice chat, we're all collaborating. And at the end of this video, I will show you how to pillar properly, which is more of how to play Trundle. Trundle is really dependent on how well you can pillar, so if you can do that properly and in the right situations, then he's going to be an extremely strong character for you. All the other stuff is just minor decisions like the tankiest person near you to use your ultimate on it, etc. So my path on Trundle, I typically do the same on every jungler. I go Wolves, Blue, Wraiths, Golems, Red. Some junglers are unable to do red, some it takes them really low, like Nocturne gets pretty low when he goes to do red, which is, a good counter jungling point. But like I said, this game is a ranged 5. I'm not worried about being counter jungler that early because I know that my lanes will come and support me, and it'll probably be a bad idea for them. Now Trundle works really good on a team with coordination. It's not to say he's not good in solo queue, because he is probably one of the better junglers for solo queue. Because of his pillar, you're able to save someone. And I believe it was a quote from the Odd One a while ago. He says, if you really want to get better at the game, learn how to make other people better at the game. So you're pretty much able to save people and give people kills that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to get without your help. And Trundle really offers that to a team almost more than anyone else. So I really do like Trundle. I think he's one of the strongest picks, and he's one of my better junglers. So you can see here, he's a little slow at farming. And by a little slow, I mean he's not Skarner. Skarner is pretty ridiculous at farming. He is definitely faster than some. And you'll see in this game, Nocturne popped up right on Scion. So here we're going to gank Kennen. Kennen is a little more than 3/4, but I can go in, and the pillar right there against the terrain stops him. We get a stun off, and we pick up first blood. So whenever you pillar to gank, and the later video will show you that, you want to try and pin it up against the terrain. If you saw, he was right here, and then I put the pillar there so that his pathing tried to make him go through this, but he couldn't, so he stopped and then had to go all the way around. And that's the best way to use your pillar. That's the most effective way to do it. You want to make it so that it messes with their pathing. As a slow, it's a really weak. It's not as strong as like red buff or some other thing. It does slow people. It'll slow someone by 25%, which is this base level of Skarner's Q. So as a slow, it's not powerful. However, it is really good when you mess with people's pathing, and that's when it becomes extremely powerful. because they try to run around it. The game thinks that they should run around it, and so they stop, they try to go through the bad side and then turn around and go all the way on the other side. And the later video, like I said, will show you that it's really good in a gank when you do that. So Cyan had to go back. I'm just picking up some farm while I'm here. And this is pretty typical. It's pretty much exactly what I covered in one of my guides. This is covering a lane. I'm not worried about Kennen. He's really not doing enough damage to me for me to care. I'm able to be sustained in my jungle without all that due to my passive. Whenever I kill someone, I gain some life back. So that's really not doing too much for me. So here I've hit 6. I have my ultimate now, so my ganks are even stronger. And they're stronger because I can not only bring damage and utility to the gank now, I can sap their magic and armor and add it to myself, and it has 2 ticks that it does. It does the first initial damage, and then 6 seconds later it does another thing of damage. So sometimes if they're really low and running away and barely get away, or they have ignite on them, that second tick will really kick in and you'll pick you up to kill, and it has done that for me a few times. And you also shred their attack damage when you do this, when you come into a gank. So it's extremely strong on someone like Teemo, who he'll start a fight with Wukong, blind Wukong, and then I come in, shred his armor, shred his attack damage, and he can't do too much. So we're trying to repeat what we did here. Kennen has a pretty good reaction to Cyan. He moves out just in time. I'm not able to get off the pillar. I did get it off, but it wasn't really in a good position. He needed to be closer to the wall, and it would have been better. But that was just harassment, really. I was going to recall, but I noticed that I had smite up and my wraiths were up, so I'm just going to quick farm some more. I have a pretty good amount of gold from that first assist and from farming all the way to level 6. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to pick up my razors and boots. And I like running Wriggles on Trundle. I think it's really strong because he has the double proc on his Q, meaning that your Rabid Bite, which resets your auto attack, can also trigger your Wriggles Lantern, so you can do a potential of like 1,000 damage instantly, because you can hit proc, Q proc, and you have 2 auto attacks worth of damage plus 144 plus the 500 damage that Wriggles offers. It's a little less now, but it's still a lot. I think it might be 400 now. It doesn't really matter. Still more damage than auto attacks. So you saw there, I already got 1 proc off Q. So I'm starting blue, giving it to Cyan. He takes a long time to come and get it. A long time. If you notice, this is just Golem beating up on me. But he finally does come around and get it. I almost pick it up with my passive damage return, but he has enough auto attack, enough life to be auto attacked to death, which is great because I've accidentally picked up that a few times with just the barbed armor perk from the mastery tree. And on Trundle I run 0921. That's more of an old habit. You could probably mess around with that a lot more, but having the cooldown reduction on your pillar is really critical. I also level pillar next. I go QE with 1 point in W at level 2. So Nocturne jumps on me, and again, just to strengthen the pillar, he's not able to get around it. Of course you have Scion's CC there as well, but it slowed him enough that he had to go up and around while being slowed the entire time. So we actually get into a scuffle here. Kennen comes, Pantheon comes, Cyan goes and picks up Kennen, and then we both die to Pantheon because block is OP. So he takes me down, almost gets taken down, but there's a unnecessary flash from Tarek there, and our bottom lane is just getting here, and that's sort of the thing I touched on in one of my blog articles where you want to follow your MIAs. So bottom went missing a while ago, and our bottom component decided to stay down and farm a bit longer, and it ended up picking up Pantheon a double kill when he could have been killed in one Sivir auto attack. But it's alright, we're still ahead. It's 1-1-2. Cyan actually ends up getting pretty fed this game. He either stuns someone or I pillar someone, and the combination of the CC always picks him up a kill. And our strategy this game was really just to use the strength to our advantage. So right now all the lanes are doing fine. We notice that they're going to pick up dragon, so I ping. I tell everybody on their team to get down there. They're killing it really quickly, but we're not going to be able to get down there in time. If you notice, he blew smite. If I were a little closer, I could have smited. But our top lane teleports in right here. Wukong. Another pillar slows all three of them. I mean, and it picks up the kill. On any other jungler, they pretty much would have gotten dragon for free. However, this time, they pick up dragon at the price of 4 of them. 3 of them. So 3 dropped for dragon. And, yeah, I knew it was 4. So Teemo goes down. He gets softballed over to Trundle, and I baseball bat him to death. So we picked up 4 kills for dragon. A very good exchange for us. We're going to try and pressure this middle tower as well, because we're here as 5. Top tower is not really being pushed. It's up to the tower, and so is bottom, but it's not going to push because there's no one there. So we're just going to put some damage onto this tower and try to take it. We notice that Pantheon's coming in, so we all get out immediately. Nocturne pops his ultimate, and there was an epic Wukong decoy right there. They all went on to that, and we got out scot-free. So Wukong OP, I guess. That was a really, really good decoy, and great that they took that bait, because it saved the lives of all of us. But if you saw on the previous dragon, we wouldn't have picked that up if I were someone other than Trundle, because it slowed all 3 of them to the point where they couldn't even escape. So we just resume farming, as per usual. As a jungler, especially in the new jungle, it's a lot harder to keep up your level, so you really want to farm up a lot. In between fights, if you have enough health and mana, you want to be farming, and that kind of changes the tiering and the value of some junglers, because someone like Lee Sin or Skarner can go in jungle with little to no mana, and Lee Sin of course doesn't have mana, but they can go jungle with little life, little mana, and still do it at a reasonable pace. Trundle is about the same way. If he doesn't have mana, he gets kind of slow, but he's still not extremely slow, and he's not like Fiddlesticks, where if he's out of mana, he just can't jungle, period. Or, you know, the other APs like Maokai. Maokai is extremely slow without mana. Trundle doesn't do anything but speed up. So if you notice, when I come on Teemo, I go into that corner part of the tri-bush, and that really, most Teemo players put mushrooms in pretty predictable places. If you'll see, whenever I gank Teemos, I typically go not the beaten path. Most people come up, go right through the center of the tri-bush, then run through the river bush. And the same thing with Caitlyn traps and Nidalee traps. Anything that people put down, they put it in commonly traveled routes. So right in the center of that, I'd almost guarantee there's a mushroom. I didn't chase Nocturne through the mushroom, because that would be really bad. It would probably spell a death for me, even with Wukong there. So you want to try and go around paths that aren't common. And as someone like Teemo, you want to put your first mushroom in somewhere common, because it'll most of the time pick someone up. And then you want to put your second one, like, maybe right here, or over here. Because if you put them right there, and right here, and right here, it's only going to catch the people that are running through here without knowing, because I go through the edges, here, here, and there. And then it'll catch people coming up through river bush. And most people use this bush as a way to get into a lane without being seen. But if you're extended enough up into this area, and I run, it's actually faster for me to go up this way, even if I am revealed. So these river bushes and the mushrooms in there aren't as necessary as some in right here in the middle. So we're going to jump onto bottom lane. We're going down. I almost always follow my AP mid. Typically, following your AP will lead to assists and kills. Almost always, because your AP doesn't roam for no reason. He actually gets caught here, but he flashes out in time. But your AP never just walks around for the sake of walking around. They really need their farm. Sorry, I should say a good AP never walks around for the sake of walking around. So here Pantheon jumps on and steals my wolf. I was pretty upset about that. I sent him an angry message. I needed that 5 gold pretty bad. I was upset that he came and jumped on me for it. But APs don't carry... They don't... Yeah, they don't carry. Good one. APs don't roam for no reason. Even my friend who also plays Scion, he runs roaming boots and boots of mobility. He goes top lane and bottom lane, but it's never for an extended period of time or for no reason. It's never let's go bottom because it's Tuesday. It's let's go bottom because there's a kill opportunity there. They're low, they're aggressive, we can dive them, etc. There's some reason. So whenever an AP goes somewhere, you should follow them for 2 reasons. One, it'll pick you up a kill or an assist. And the second one is you can help them or save them, because your AP being alive is more important than any other role. They're typically the ones that need the most levels, the most farm early, and they do the most burst early. So following them around is a major advantage. So here I noticed that Teemo is being a little aggressive on Wukong. Wukong uses his decoy, knocks him up. We pillar him out. We're not too scared of Nocturne if he comes, and he was actually just out of range. So he comes up to jump on Blitz, but Blitz has a really clutch play right here. He recalls right in that bush, and they go right around for him, and he gets out. It was pretty funny. We were laughing about it at the time. He was just lucky that Nocturne was a little bit too far for his ultimate and all that other stuff. So here we're just holding this tower. I'm just holding the tower. There's no we and I. Holding this tower against Kennen until Wukong comes back. Wukong's actually teleporting in, so we're going to jump onto Kennen a little bit. Kennen is really mobile, and he stuns me here, so we're not really able to pick up the kill. We weren't looking for a kill as much as pushing him out. Nocturne was sticking around too, so it would have been a pretty bad fight if Kennen had stuck around. And during this entire thing, which I neglected to mention, our team was picking up Dragon. So we were trying to keep them on top in order for us to secure the Dragon. And if you notice, they come down now to pick it up. Teemo puts a shroom in there, comes at Scion. Scion bursts him, as Scion is wont to do. And then, you know, he chases him through mid. We try to go on Kennen here. He flashed over my pillar. As you know, my computer's a little laggy, so when I did that, he was still there, but he had flashed after the pillar happened. Pantheon comes on, but I don't really think either of them expect how much damage Scion's doing. So we come in here again, trying to pick up the kills. Throw a pillar down right in front of Kennen so that I can get out. He can't chase me. Even though chasing me would have been a bad idea, I don't think we could have secured the kill with Scion's stun down. He had just used it on Pantheon. So we end up taking up this mid tower. If you notice, bottom lane came up and helped us take it. Top lane is going to be pretty much just farming back and forth the whole entire game. Most of the action comes from mid, bottom, and jungler this game. Top lane is going to just back and forth farm, the two of them, pretty much the entire game, up until we take the Nexus, actually. So we take mid, so we have 1 dragon, we have 1 tower, and they have 1 dragon and no towers, and we're up by 6 kills. So overall, we're in a pretty good position this game. This is not a domination by far. The only thing that's a bit unsettling for them, Scion has 6 kills, which is domination. Our Sivir, our other carry, has 3 kills. I have 2 kills myself. So the extra kills on our team are really going to extremely effective members of our team. So if you can find a way to leverage that, that's how you win games. So in this game, we're taking whoever's fed, which happens to be the carries, which is good for us. Sometimes it's the jungler, sometimes it's top lane. You need to find a way to leverage that to your advantage. So if the top lane were fed, we would be seeing a lot more action on top lane. We would be pushing that tower. We would be using his tankiness and teamfight presence to our advantage. In this game, however, our mid is fed, our bottom is somewhat ahead. She's a little behind in CS. She's at 89, 90. She should be around probably 120. Top lane and mid lane should be around 120. They're a few behind, but it's nothing critical. I should not be up in the CS with our bottom laner, is what I'm trying to say. But their team's behind on CS. Their jungler is actually highest CS on their team. Their Teemo is 20 behind our Wukong, so overall we're doing really well on farm as well. We could be doing better, but still doing better than they are. So we go on Teemo again. Come in, I just use my pool, use my pillar, and again, that's what I'm talking about. If you see, he was trying to run, let me unlock this, he was trying to run up and over and through the bushes to pull us through a trail of mushrooms. So I threw a pillar right here so that he tried to go over the pillar, but it didn't work, and it repathed him to in front of the pillar. And that gave us vision of him out of the bushes, and it kept him from going up and around and pulling us through mushroom trails. So once you effectively learn how to pillar, it's extremely powerful. I think Blitz ends up taking top tower. We're seeing some action down on bottom. Sion came down, as I said. APs don't come down for no reason. He came down because bottom lane was extended. And we pick up a double kill on bottom. So we're now 10 kills ahead, 2 towers ahead. There's a lot of advantage going in our favor. And as I said, we're finding ways to use this advantage. So I'm coming down to the AP now. We're going to take this bottom turret. We notice that Teemo's still up top. Sion is extremely fed and does a lot of damage right now. He actually has a Lichbane and the Fiendish Codex that builds into the Morello's Tome. So we're just here harassing, trying to take whatever towers we can. We land a pillar and a kill shot on Nocturne there. And again, we're using our advantage that we have gained through this whole game. They can't deal with Sion's damage, they can't deal with my utility, and Sivir is making us extremely fast. So we're going to keep pushing until we have a threat. They needed to approach us as 5 at this point, but Teemo kept staying top and farming. And that allowed us to just come in and poke with Sion, and poking with Sion is like half of their life. So he's chunking people for half of their life. Tarek just dropped. If Ken had approached, he would drop too. So we're snowballing and compounding our advantage, trying to take what we can while we can. And it just so happens that this game, without Teemo, without another person dealing damage, they're not able to resist us coming in. So we take them down again. We take this inhibitor. And at this point, we're really sustained. We all have decent life and mana thanks to Soraka. And we're just continuing to push. They need to come at us at either 4 or 5 at this point, and they all need to be full life, but they keep streaming in. And so, as they come in, another stun, and it drops them. So there you go. Tarek, half his life is gone. We're out before we take the turret damage. And they just need to approach us as a team, and they never did. So we end up taking the victory right here. We're going to take the Nexus, and this is probably one of the more unorthodox wins I've had, because Teemo just stayed top the entire time while we took 3 towers, an inhibitor, 2 more Nexus towers, and the Nexus. So that was Trundle. I hope you enjoyed him. He's a really good solo queue champion. I play him on my ranked teams as well because of the utility he offers. And we're going to jump right over into how to pillar. Alright, see you there. Victory. Alright, this is how to gank when you're using the pillar. And as I said before, you're going to want to try and get them in between terrain. So here I'm going to gank on Trundle. He goes into the bush, and I throw it at the end of the bush, so he has to run around. And in order to run around, he needs to go through both Nasus and I. So on this next one, you're going to see I'm ganking bottom lane. I go around, they start to pull out because they had seen me here. So I wait just a sec for our team to catch up. Kog'Maw moves in, and then I throw it right there so that he has to stop and start turning around. And then we end up picking the kill on Morgana. This time we're going to pick up a kill on Morgana top, who's extended. She runs up and tries to juke us through the bush. She dodges the first wither, and then we throw a pillar so that she has to stop and turn around and come through again, both Nasus and myself. You can also use the pillar to save an ally, which is shown in this. This is a continuation of that gank on Kog'Maw on bottom. This is all in one game. So Graves picks up a kill. Nocturne uses his ultimate here, so I stop recalling. He comes around, Graves jukes him through the bush, comes out through the bottom, and he's coming around. I use my ground to speed up, and then I throw a pillar so he can get out. You can also use it to save yourself. Here I'm going to go into mid and realize that I can't handle all of the people there. I didn't see Trundle coming in, so I cancel my ground, I run, and then I throw a pillar right behind me. And it's right in the bush, and they have to stop and go around again. And that's really the power of the pillar. If you master the pillar, you'll be a really good Trundle player. And if you like my videos, subscribe. If you don't like them, tell me how I can fix them. Thanks.